Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Symphony AI webinar today. Um, we're going to be covering the enterprise IT platform today, going through kind of explaining what Symphony AI is and how we're addressing needs with our AI powered ITSM solution. So just a quick housekeeping to start. If you have any questions or comments throughout the session, please feel free to put those in the chat or the Q&A. We'll keep an eye on those things and try to answer questions, as we go through, and have some time there at the end as well. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We'll be going through a quick slide deck, and then I'll go into a demo. So, let me share here. And also, give me just 1 second. There we go. I'm also going to go ahead and cut my camera for this. So again, we're Symphony AI. So AI company with multiple different verticals. Just a quick rundown of those verticals. We do have retail and CPG, our financial services division, industrial, media, and enterprise IT. Really, our goal is to build a leading enterprise AI SaaS company. With that, we've got a lot of expertise in the AI industry, over 2,000 customers worldwide, serving some of the top names in the industries that we support with generative and predictive AI architecture. We do have about 2,400 employees in 33 countries around the world. Just a list of a few of our customers. As you can see here, some of the biggest names in their respective industries. With our retail group, CPG, finance, again, manufacturing, media, and the IT enterprise service management space. We have been recognized specifically in our enterprise IT with a lot of different recognitions, which I'll go through here in the next couple slides. And again, very diverse customer base with some large names in that space as well. We are the most preferred enterprise class ITSM solution according to Gartner Peer Insights with a 4.5 overall rating. Which is higher than our competitors with a 85% willingness to recommend, which is very high for the industry. We did receive honorable mention in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for ITSM platforms prior to that being a retired quadrant for Gartner. And we've received the voice of the customer for ITSM platforms for 5 straight years. And we were a leader in ISG's Provider Lens for enterprise service management software for the year 2023. Now, just to give you an idea of our platform, so we do support multiple different functions within within the organization. So we support, your IT division, your HR, your facilities, finance. That can also be supported across your customer base. If you're like a managed service provider, those are your different, what we would refer to as a tenant structure. And we'll go into that when we get into the platform. We do support multiple systems of engagement. So meeting your customer where they are, whether that's, within Microsoft Teams or Slack, Google Chat, through the web, email, voice, all the different ways in which they can engage with your group for providing support. Multiple systems of intelligence as well through intent identification, classification, managing your workload, and intelligent self-service and automation. We do have a full solution stack, which I'll cover on the next slide with the different options within our solution stack. And just an idea of our platform in general. It is a secure multi-tenant architecture. That's what I was referring to with the ITHR facilities or multiple customers. Integration hub, low code, no code platform, designers throughout the system to customize how you would want the system to look and feel. So as far as the platform is concerned, again, we have the IT service management with the no code, low code, design studio, multi-tenancy, persona-based dashboards. We do provide that enterprise service management for those other support groups like your HR, facilities, and finance. Enterprise asset management through agentless and agent-based discovery, asset lifecycle management, hardware and software asset management. Our service automation engine is an agentless architecture that provides, a scheduler. It provides, condition-based skills. So we can run skills, things like creating a user in Active Directory or creating a mailbox in, Exchange or Office 365. Those are all options we have with the service automation engine. And then our generative AI copilot, which is operates as both a digital agent as well as a copilot experience, full customization of that. We have partnered with Microsoft using their open AI platform to create that generative AI experience. That also allows you to tie that into other applications within your organization. So maybe your HR tools, your, maybe SharePoint or a Confluence site or other tools you might leverage today. And being able to get responses to your users, leveraging that Copilot and generative AI. So, and with that, I'm going to move into our demo here. So we're going to start out with our demo. We're going to go through a couple persona-based, logins here. So we're going to start out with Ryan, who's going to be our end user. So Ryan being the end user, he is going to have access to kind of just submit tickets, work throughout the system as an end user. And then we'll move into our analyst type role. Our analyst is going to be operating as just kind of working tickets within the system, supporting that end user. And then we'll move into an admin role with our admin being, able to get in and do everything from a design standpoint. So we'll take a look at all the different options that the admin will have in order to support, the system in that way. So again, we'll start with Ryan here. Ryan is logged in and is presented with a nice portal experience here. You can see that multi-tenant structure too with IT services and HR services. Different look and feel based on what we wanted to do here. This again is fully customizable, so we'll cover that from an admin perspective. We'll be able to show you how easy it is to build these things out. Now Ryan's got a nice Google-like experience here, nice search box right in the middle, can find what he's looking for, hopefully, but also the ability to do things like raise a technology issue, browse our catalog, browse the knowledge base, go out to the community. Quick widgets to go in and view any open incidents that he has, open requests, important announcements or information we've published on here, a nice video we've published, on this as well from Microsoft's Inspire, where Symphony AI was featured. We've got some reporting available in here with charts, graphs, and then some other additional incidents. This is one type of, catalog or one type of portal we might show you, but we do have other portals like a nature theme that we might pull up or something, with a nice, image in the background with very, very minimal that we might use. but lots of different options. From here, maybe we want to do a search. So if I'm having like a VPN issue, as an example, I might do a search and it might present me with like knowledge base articles or incidents that I've submitted already, maybe service catalog items that would make sense in this regard. So hopefully I can search and find like how to configure the VPN. That's going to open me in another tab and show me that article of how I can configure my VPN. Nice step-by-step instructions, nice video we've got posted on here. User does have the ability to go ahead and rate that, so provide comments and give it an overall rating of how well that solved their issue. If that doesn't solve their issue, they always can come back and log an incident. So in this case, I'm going to go right into that log incident page. Same thing, that multi-tenant structure. So selecting between HR and IT as an example. When I select IT, you'll notice there on the right-hand side, we've got suggested solutions. So those suggested solutions are based off of overall rating and views of your knowledge articles. So we're giving the top 5 to start out with as they start putting their information in. I can select my service. It's not mandatory, so I'm not going to have to select anything in there. I do have the categorization, which is mandatory, so I can go ahead and set a category of VPN issues, and I can start typing. So you'll notice that as I start typing, those suggested solutions are narrowed down based off of those keywords. So we can provide keywords for our knowledge base articles. It can base it off of the symptom being typed in and look through the title and description of the knowledge article. So VPN connectivity issues. Can provide a description here, can also drag and drop like screenshots as an example. So maybe that's just a screenshot, please see error message below. So we're providing that additional information. We can attach files to this as well. This is all based on what you'd want to have as part of that new incident form for the user. Once we save that, it does bring us into the incident list. So the list view here is just everything that Ryan has submitted. So it's showing that VPN connectivity issue ticket, confirming that it was logged. Ryan can keep track of his tickets. He can sort his tickets, so he can do filters. He can sort on columns, filter on columns, do a search, all right here from this page. Selecting the incident will show him some details. So obviously the things that he entered, but maybe additional information that was added by the system automatically or added by an analyst. So we can see it's already been assigned to level 1 help desk, but it doesn't currently have an analyst assigned. Ryan can keep track of this. He can update it. He can cancel it. So if I want to update, I can select that, provide my message, provide any attachment to update the incident for an analyst. Maybe I need to escalate it. I can provide that update. Or I've solved the issue myself and maybe I want to cancel it. I can cancel and provide the reason why I'm canceling it so it can be processed. Now, Ryan maybe goes back to his portal and different portal we've got here. We can log a request as an example. So this is going to be separate from those break fix incidents. This is going to be your service request, like I need access to, or I need something installed, or I need I need a new laptop, whatever it might be. So in this case, we've got our service catalog. We can see our most popular items still have that same multi-tenant technology. So our HR specific versus IT specific. We do have our category over here on the left-hand side. So we can select from our top level category or into our subcategories or sub-subcategories if we wanted to create multiple layers. And we load these as they scroll. So it'll load additional items as they kind of scroll through the system. Now, if I need like access to connect like a USB device, I can provide reason for that. How long do I need it? If it's temporary, when do I need it? I need it tomorrow. I only need it, for one day. Maybe I don't, end it on Friday. And then provide any additional information in that particular request. Now that we can save that, and it'll bring us into our service requests and show us where we're sitting with any of those service requests within the system. Now Ryan can see here, this one is currently in the awaiting approval state. He could select that, see where USB access has been requested, and where it's currently sitting. So it's currently sitting with the reporting manager. So we know that we're waiting on Samantha to approve that request so we can move it forward. So Ryan can see that information. He can also view the full workflow, shows him where we're currently sitting in the process, and where it can go from here. So Ryan is fully up to date, knows that we're waiting on the approval. There's no back and forth, asking on statuses, things like that. Other things, Ryan, obviously search through those things, can browse the knowledge base, just view knowledge records within the system here, view some reports. So we give Ryan a lot of different, capabilities in here. And from there, if I go ahead, I'm going to log out of Ryan, and we'll move into our Maxwell role, which is going to be our analyst role. And log into the system. So now you'll notice here as I logged in, I'm presented with a different screen. Maxwell has more capabilities in the system because of his role. So he has access to, asset management, discovery jobs, service management. This is a list of the applications that Maxwell has access to. So we all like to think of this as like turning on your smart TV. You've got different apps, and based on the app that you select, you're going to be presented with that app's interface. So we can set up the same concept here. When we select our application, we're presented with that application's interface. So we're going to select service management. We've opted for the analyst role here as Maxwell, and Maxwell's presented with an analyst portal. So different from the end user portal, Maxwell obviously has a lot more access and needs to do a lot more work. So he still has that search capability, so he can search for tickets maybe that he's looking for, or search for a user that calls in. Maybe he wants to search for that user and find some information. He could do that search right here through our search box. But then he has an overview of his workload. So incidents that he's has assigned to him, changes, service requests, problem records, any critical tasks that are in the system, like major incidents, VIP incidents, P1s, his full team's workload. So maybe he's a team lead, and he needs to keep track of all of the team's workload. He can see all the tickets, service requests, change requests that they're working. And then breaking them up with some reporting capabilities below. We've also implemented a tabbed approach. So we've got an overview tab, but we also have specific to incidents, which gets a little bit more granular when it comes directly to the incident level. Same thing with service requests, change requests, and problems. These are interactive. So like, for instance, those open incidents for Maxwell, selecting that will bring me into the incident list view of those 44 incidents. So it'll show me a filtered view just of those incidents that have been assigned to me. So I can see any tickets that are in the system. I can also filter these, so I can create additional filters and save those filtered view. So this is only my work group incidents. Maybe I want to select all incidents, so I'll see every incident that's come into the system, including that latest VPN issue that I just submitted as Ryan. We know that does not have an analyst assigned to it, so maybe I want to take ownership of that. So I can select that ticket here. Once I select that ticket, I'm then presented with the incident screen. A lot more information here on this screen, obviously, for Maxwell as he's working the incident. Now you'll notice that what immediately popped up once selected this ticket is Service Desk Intelligence. So this is AI built into our platform. It's going to learn from your ticket history to suggest things like, what work group should this be assigned to? What's the impact, urgency, category, classification? We get that all automatically based on our history. And we can continue to feed that algorithm by, for instance, I don't want to assign to the security work group, and I want to say it's because it's the wrong team. So by selecting that and applying that, it will fill everything else in, but then obviously feed that algorithm to say, hey, we don't want to apply this to the security team because it doesn't really belong to them. We see our symptom and our description, and then we have, again, a lot more information here around like classification, prioritization of the ticket. We've got SLAs built in. We can see who's been assigned as the analyst. Again, we don't have anything assigned yet, so maybe I want to assign it to Maxwell. We can see the status change to in progress, and we have highlighted the general tab in red just to indicate there's some required fields in here that need to be filled out. So we can select the medium, the source, classification, whatever you require can be set in here. Select those and then save them. Can also see that a business rule is being executed for this record based on the information that I provided. We can have business rules with, if-then statements essentially to perform actions. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the admin side of things, but that's been processed on this based on what I've filled out. We do have messaging with both user communication and a private log, so we can leave our own personal notes in here. These are notes for really any analyst that has access to the system. It just keeps it private from the requester, so they don't see that anything you put in your private log. Provide a solution. We can do checklist. We can do troubleshooting. So these are all just tabs that we can set up. Some of these you maybe don't use, in which case it's easy to remove them from view. Same thing with any of the fields that you're seeing on here. We also have linking, so we can link this to assets, incidents, service requests, changes. So we can create links between different modules, as well as create like if this is a problem or it needs to be associated with a change, we need to create a change. We can create from here, and it'll create that link automatically as well. Vendor info and then timeline as well. So timeline giving us timestamps for the things that we chose to stamp. So we've got timestamps for when the analyst changed, the work group changed, and priority changed, and we can see those timestamps right there on this timeline. Now, in addition to that, we do have a full change history on this ticket, which does give us everything that's been done and who's done it. So Maxwell just changed some things like analysts, set the urgency from low to high, set the impact from low to high, all those things that were done by Maxwell. We can see any communication history that's gone back and forth, workflows. There's none of those on this, which was why we don't have anything there. SLA history, those business rules, as I mentioned. So we had 2 of those rules were processed, and so we can see those rules and what was processed on those. And then access history, which just shows us who has actually opened the ticket. So even if they don't make a change on the ticket, we can at least keep track of the access of the ticket. We also have a generate summary. So our Copilot, this is that Copilot experience. So we do have the ability to generate a summary of the ticket through that. That will look at everything that was done with this ticket and then provide a Gen AI response of what's happened on this ticket, as well as the ability to set reminders here, remote desktop, transfer the incident, those AI suggestions that we already saw that popped up automatically on this new ticket, um, and the ability to send an email. So if you wanted to send an email using a notification template, we could do that quickly from the system as well. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of that. And we're going to move into that service request that we had in here. So I'll go into our service request menu and the manage service requests. And that'll just show us a list of those service requests that have been submitted, where they currently are in the process. This one's awaiting approval as an example. When I select that, very similar to that, the end user experience, we can see that approval timeline. We can see that workflow, where it's sitting in the workflow as well. But obviously, as an analyst, I get a lot more information down here, very similar to our incident list with our timelines and all that. The ability to send an email, view the history of the record, and all of that. And with that, I'm going to switch over to our admin functionality. So I'm going to log out here as Maxwell, and I'll move into our admin role so we can see that. So logging in as an admin, same app selection screen. Once we select our application, we're presented with whatever portal we've established for ourselves. We do have different dashboards and things in here as well. So Frederick being an admin, maybe we go into like a more of an executive dashboard. We can view in here based on the role. Frederick has the same like analyst functionality as Maxwell did, but you'll notice that next to Frederick is our settings cog. This gives Frederick is a platform admin, so Frederick has access to our platform studio and our design studio. We'll start with platform studio. Just to give you an idea again, we do have a multi-tenant approach here within the platform. So we have like a domain and subdomain structure with our different tenants. And then we have those different applications with their individual modules. So with this, when the platform studio, we can set those structures up. We can do mapping of the modules and applications to the particular tenants or departments. This is also where we'd set up like authentication for the system. This is where we'd set up either form-based logins. We can do SAML, OAuth, so we can create that authentication method for your organization, as well as set up your users and pull your users in from other sources like your Active Directory. Once you set that up, there is then the design studio, and your design studio is where you're configuring the applications themselves. So right now I'm in the service management application. I have access to the other applications here, and I've got application settings, things like a theme. So when we're setting up like a new theme, our theme includes let's call this demo webinar. And our theme allows you to set out like a layout mode, like maybe you want a dark mode or a light mode. Depending on that, you can also set your color scheme that you want to use. And this gets down to individual like components, like changing the colors of the buttons, what they look like. Setting your branding for your color schemes, your background colors, your fonts, all of those can be set. Your top panel with your logo and background color, all of that's part of your theme and can be configured within the system. In addition to setting your themes, we then also have things like your service portal. This is where you would configure that portal itself. So if we wanted to go into this one that's in maintenance, that portal is just designed within the system. So we give it a name, and our portal design is here. You'll notice we have different layouts, so we can set up different layouts to break up the page. We can also then use widgets. Widgets can be, your images, your search box, action widgets, data widgets. All of those are available. These are all drag and drop, so I can pull a widget over. Once I've pulled it over, then I can modify it. So in this search box, as an example, if I click the little gear there, if I want to change the watermark, I can just type in that watermark, what I want that to look like. If I want to choose what it's searching on, so it's searching incidents, requests, and articles, but if I wanted to modify that, I could add additional tabs and choose the source of that search and what I'm searching on. And I can change the appearance as far as how that looks, what that background color is, the border color, things like that. All those design elements are possible in here. These particular action widgets, this is the log incident. So it's actually, the data source is the My Incidents new incident form, and it's opening in the same window. If I wanted to open in a new tab, I could just select that here. So there's no coding involved with any of this. We can easily modify these things just by selecting from the design elements here inside of the UI. That includes setting like this community widget, as an example, is an external data source. So all we're doing there is just pointing that to a URL so that when you select that, it opens the page that you've pointed it to. Beyond the application, settings here and application designer, we can then get into specific module design. And that's where we would modify things like our incident forms. So we've got like this manage cases form. If you wanted to modify anything that you saw on the forms themselves, it's all done within this form designer. So we have this as a main form. We go into our design form, and we have all of our controls over here on the left-hand side that again are drag and drop. So everything you see over here on the right has been pulled from this panel of controls. So different layouts, as I mentioned before, and then we have our form controls. And so that could be your short text, your long text, your multi-choice, tree views, uploads, survey controls. So do you want a star rating or a Likert scale? Do we want some form actions? The actions components. We can get into individual widgets as well. So maybe we want an icon, or we want like our SLA widgets or effort tracking, a timeline. So we can drag and drop all of those over into our form and then continue to modify the form. Within the form itself, if we wanted to get rid of things like maybe we don't want that solution tab, we can just delete the tab. It just removes that from the form itself. We can modify the form. The individual fields can be modified. We also have things like field validation. So for pending reason, as an example, we don't want that field showing up unless the status of the request is pending. So we might set up like a field validation. So in field validation, we'd say for, like the IT tenant, we're going to say if these conditions are met, then we're going to hide this field. If this condition is met, then we're hiding it. If this condition is met, we're making it mandatory. So we can set those up with validations on the field itself. Can also do security on our fields, so we can restrict those fields. Maybe you have like an HR type, like an onboarding request. And we have like maybe a salary field that HR can see and they can update, but no one else sees. So we can restrict field access and choose what type of security we're setting for that. All right. Then beyond our form designer, we can go back to our designers, and that's where we'll get additional designers like our workflow designers and business rule designers, notifications, SLAs, reports. So we can design everything in the tool. From a workflow standpoint, if we were to view maybe one of these workflows, like a major incident workflow, this is allowing us to set triggers and conditions. So it's created or updated based on a condition, or if it's all the time, there's no condition met. We're setting that trigger and condition, and then we're designing our workflow. Our workflow can be designed with approvals, conditions, notifications, creating a record. The approvals themselves can be done dynamically, or we can, this one is role-based approval. So we're using a dot walking method here for, work group primary owner is going to be the approval on this one. We can do, again, dynamic approvals, static approvals, so we can choose different approval types in here. And then we can also set minimum number of approvals. So, only one person or 50% or more, or, 3 out of the 5 people, or, whatever you want to set from your approval conditions. And then walk it through again, all of the different, workflows, notifications and all that for these. Workflow designer and business rule designer are similar in nature. Business rule being your if-then statements and performing, again, conditions and actions. Workflow is used when we're wanting to do like approvals, things like that. Business rule is maybe we just want to perform a specific action. So we'll just call this webinar, and there it goes. So we've got our trigger created or updated, our condition, again, just like within our workflow designer, based on a condition or always, but our actions are now to either create a record, update fields on the record itself. This is used if you want to set maybe you want to create like an impact urgency matrix and set priority. We can notify certain recipients, so add a notification. Notifications can go out through email, SMS, or Teams. We could do an API call when the business rule is met, or we could display a message on the screen. We could do any of these or all of these when we're creating a business rule, and then we can publish those business rules. So with that, we've been about 40 minutes or so here. I'm going to check our chat, see if there's any questions. We got one question in our chat here, and are you able to list CIs tied to a user and link them to a case? Yes, you are. So when you're viewing a ticket, I'll just pull this up. And I might not have any assets assigned to me, but let me pull up a ticket here, hopefully. So when we're in the incident, we do have that linking capability. So we could link and we could select like our assets. So we can link to our fixed assets, select from our asset listing. So that gives us that capability here. We can filter and sort on the columns. So maybe we have a column for like owner, those types of things. We'd be able to add that there. So that's one way we can do the linking. We also have on this, and I didn't show it, is user records history. So when we're viewing a user records history, that shows us the incidents this person has logged, service requests, change requests, and assets. This user does not have any assets assigned to him, but that would list any assets that are associated with that user, and that would give us the ability to link them to the incident. It can also be done through with changes, service requests, any of those things. So the system itself is like fully integrated, so you have those options in all the different locations. So the next question, in the workflow designer, there was a utilities folder. What options do you have? Can you do stuff like call a PowerShell command? So we do have that capability. So PowerShell would actually be our service automation engine. I don't know that this demo environment is set up for that, so I apologize if it's not. But service automation is allowing us to do PowerShell. So that has its own workflow designer. So what we would do in that is say, if these conditions are met, then we're going to do this script. We call them skills or quick development scripts, and that includes PowerShell, Python, VB script, Bash, and Batch. So you can set those things up to run those commands, and that's all done through service automation. So service automation, I don't think this is set up. Now I'm in it's taken me to the platform, so it's not set up for this demo account, but service automation would be that engine that would perform those particular actions. And we can, if you want some additional information on that, we can share that with you after the call as well. And then there was a question more on the Copilot and demoing more on those features and being integrated with the digital agent. So the Copilot is an extension of the digital agent. We can do a demo of that. Reach out to us to schedule that demo. We'll be happy to go through a demo. I won't have time to do that for today's call, but we're happy to do a demo of the Copilot and show you use cases regarding that. And that might be one of the things that we do on our next for our next webinar series. And I am not seeing any additional questions. So one last question just came in. Can you speak to or show the various connectors you have into different tools? So we have some integrations in our integration hub. That's going to be in our document portal, so we can share that with you. We also have an open REST and SOAP API. And that's where we would set up like connectors in here. So API configuration, and we might create additional connections into other tools that way. So we can get you that information. We do have native integrations with Microsoft Teams, Office 365, Active Directory, so a lot of the Microsoft based components. Teams is also being used for remote support as well from a ticket. And then we've got a bunch of other ones with our service automation engine that we can show you as well. And are you able to show the Teams integration, or is that tied to the automation side of the house? So the Teams integration is twofold. Again, when we're doing notification design, we have Teams listed as a medium, so we can send a notification to Teams using that notification designer. We can do Teams directly from like an incident for remote support as well. So like if I'm in a particular ticket and I do my remote desktop option, that will then show you your Microsoft Teams. I don't know why that's not showing up. Microsoft Teams is our RDP type, so we can send an email to the user to do the remote support, generate that meeting, and connect to that user through that. So, and then we have, Microsoft Teams is also being leveraged for the digital agent and Copilot. So that is connection that we have. So that's one source where they could go to the digital agent or Copilot in Microsoft Teams, and do a live agent transfer, or ask questions, and get that information, get responses back from the system. They could check on the status of their tickets. They can update their tickets, all of that through Microsoft Teams and that experience. So. And with that, we are right at our time. I appreciate everyone, joining the call today. If you want any additional information or any other questions that we haven't gotten to, we're happy to answer those. Please feel free to reach out, request a demo through our site, symphonyai.com. We're, again, more than happy to have additional conversations with you. So again, appreciate everyone's time today. Have a great rest of your week.